Here's a crazy thought. What if the most supernatural thing in this entire world is real, genuine love? That famous passage on love, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, says that if I do the most miraculous things you can imagine, but do them in the absence of love, that I'm actually just an annoying nobody who's gained nothing. And when you read what that passage says about love, it's quite clear that the love it is speaking of is very different from what I often mean when I use the word love. And so maybe there is a counterfeit love in this world, and there is a real love that is very rare, very scarce. For example, I love those who don't annoy me, who I like to be around, and who are not below or above me. But real love says it is patient and kind, it is not jealous or boastful or proud, and it's not irritable. The love I have towards someone lasts as long as the good feeling lasts. But real love never never gives up, never loses faith. It is always hopeful and endures through every circumstance. I love to receive, and so I love to receive. But real love does not demand its own way. I would love them, but they've hurt me. Real love does not keep a record of being wronged. So then how am I supposed to identify genuine love? Well, 1 John 3 verse 16 says this. It says that we can know what real love is because Jesus gave up his life for us. So we also ought to give up our lives for our brothers and sisters. This is so clearly not the same as the thing that I often call love. It is not something that comes naturally to me. It is not something that I can fall into or fall out of. It's extremely rare. It is not frivolous or emotional, but it is very intentional, and it is unmistakably godly. Further on in 1 John chapter 4, verse 7, it says this, Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. So this verse says two things, that this love, this real love, this genuine love is not from this world. It's something that comes from God. And when we do exhibit some of it in our lives, it is proof that we've been born again as children of God. But here's the thing about this real love, that it is amazingly powerful. It is incredibly supernatural. First of all, when it comes into our lives, it establishes in us our true identity as children of God. 1 John 3 verse 1 says, See how much the Father has loved us. His love is so great that we are called God's children, and so, in fact, we are. You see, counterfeit love always requires counterfeit identity. It always requires us to pretend to be someone else or to change something about ourselves. But real love accepts us exactly as we are. So someone might have told you that in order for God to accept you, you need to change yourself. That is not true. God says, come to him exactly as you are, and he will accept you exactly as you are. And when that love of God comes into your life, it begins to establish and confirm your true identity, that you are God's son or God's daughter. And when that happens, it changes everything about who you are, where you're going in life. But the thing is, it also requires something from us. It requires us to also show this love to those around us, to become the love of God in the world. It requires us to incarnate the love of God. 1 John 3 verse 16 that we've already read, the next verse says this, If someone has enough money to live well and sees a brother or sister in need, but shows no compassion, how can God's love be in that person? And here's a big question for the church, because this is not speaking about love for everybody in the world, but it's speaking specifically about love between Christians. And I don't see this love often. I see so many Christians who spend all of their money in their own church or in their own life just upon themselves, when down the road from them there is a Christian brother or sister who is going hungry. This is really challenging, because it's saying that if I really am a child of God, then my love will show itself in the way I care for other believers around me who have less than what I have. And this is a particular challenge to the rich church, and particularly to the white church, because so often the rich white church has sat idly in its wealth, while many other Christians have gone hungry, have gone without, and have had to suffer. But it also produces something incredible. 1 John 3 verse 12 says that when we have this love, it will actually show the world what God is like. That's what Jesus prayed. He said, Father, let the world see you through the love that my disciples have for one another. Now, I believe personally that when the church begins to love in this way, that we will see the greatest revival that we have ever seen in the history of the church. When people begin to truly love one another. I really hope that this video has been meaningful and has been helpful to you. If it has, please subscribe, share it with your friends. And right after this, there'll be a few questions that you could use in a small group for a discussion, or even just on your own to think through and to pray through.